An article written by Anne Applebaum, who I would characterize as a conservative, and published yesterday at the Atlantic magazine, has the ominous title, quote, "Trump is speaking like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini," end quote. That is an historically accurate observation, as I noted in a recent video that I've included and linked in the More section below. Trump's rhetoric is identical in many respects to historical fascist leaders and includes calling human beings vermin, animals, and having, quote, bad genes, end quote, referring to the press as enemies of the people and political opponents as the enemy within, and saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the people. Those words and phrases clearly have fascist origins, and that is not a subject that can be debated. It is just a fact whether you are willing to accept it as a fact or not. Trump's admiration for dictators is well known, and I would add that his peace plan for Ukraine is no different than Putin's plan, and Putin is a fascist. In Hitler's Germany and Stalin's Russia, Applebaum made this observation, and I quote, "In each of these very different societies, the purpose of this kind of rhetoric was the same. If you connect your opponents with disease, illness, and poisoned blood, if you dehumanize them as insects or animals, if you speak of squashing them or cleansing them as if they were pests or bacteria, then you can much more easily arrest them, deprive them of rights, exclude them, or even kill them. If they are parasites, they aren't human. If they are vermin, they don't get to enjoy freedom of speech or freedoms of any kind. And if you squash them, you won't be held accountable," end quote. It is troubling that a major party candidate for president believes that this rhetoric connects with tens of millions of American voters, and he may be right in that assessment. A novel titled, quote, "It Can't Happen Here," a novel written by Sinclair Lewis and published in 1935, dealt with this kind of situation in a novel format. In the novel, it did happen in the United States. The dictator wannabe protagonist in that novel, Buzz Windrop, was modeled on the demagogic senator from Louisiana at that time in the 30s, Huey Long, who had been that state's governor. In the novel, Windrop, with strong evangelical support, beat FDR in the Democrat primaries in 1936 and won the general election. He then implemented a dictatorship in order to return the nation to patriotism and traditional values. Long was planning to run against FDR, but was assassinated in 1935. Robert Penn Warren wrote a novel inspired by Long's career that is titled, quote, "All the King's Men," that has been made into at least 2 motion pictures. Long never had anywhere near the power that Trump has now, and in my opinion, he did have, unlike Trump, who cares only about himself, at least some genuine concern about the welfare of his constituents. Long was more of a sectional power, like George Wallace in many ways, but neither Long nor Wallace used the rhetoric of fascist, as Trump routinely does now, to advance their political careers and possibly even win a national election in the United States.